Now on CoastTV News.
Police and ICE, the focus of a new bill, how the Hispanic community is reacting. U.S. wind substation one step closer to reality after Senate Bill 159 is signed into law. But what big compromise led to this? Car fee changes.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Charlie. We're going to see a few different things in this evening's newscast. We hope you guys can bear with us. A couple of small internet issues out here, so you may see me look down at my scripts every once in a while. It's just so we can get everybody at home the most accurate and correct news information. A Delaware bill that is prohibiting Delaware law enforcement agencies from working with ICE for immigration information. That's moving forward. Telemundo Delmarva and Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman has the details.
House Bill 182 is one step closer to becoming law. Carmen Robledo was born in Lewis, but her parents are immigrants from Guatemala. She shares what it means.
It's a sense of safety. It's a sense of hope, because now me being a part of not necessarily the immigrant community, right, but I live in that community. I'm surrounded by the community all the time, and so I know the fear that they lived in.
Araceli Gill, an immigrant herself, highlights the importance of making it safer for immigrants when it comes to reporting crimes.
It's very important that for other immigrants, they see that they don't have a fear to know that local law enforcement will work with immigration. They are able to go and report any type of crime that they feel that they need to report. They won't fear that ICE is just going to go like broadly in the streets in daylight and go after them or target them based on the color of their skin, or how they look or how they perceive they may look or talk.
Not everyone agrees. Well, none of the senators that voted against this bill come from districts down here in Sussex County. Two members of the House, Shoup and Hilovsky, from District 36 and District 4, did vote against it. But for Robledo, it is critical to see immediate action.
I think this bill, sooner rather than later, is so important just because it goes to show that our immigrant community's presence, and not only that, but everybody who advocated for it, our voices do matter. And it's just goes to show that it's important to include everybody, right? Whereas the governor, you should be thinking about everybody in the state and ahead of time.
Now that the bill has made it through the legislature, all eyes are on the governor's decision. District 14 Representative Claire Snyder Hall and District 6 Senator Russ Huxtable were co-sponsors of the bill. In Milton, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
TV News reached out to the governor's office to find out if and when he plans to sign this bill into law. We have not yet heard back. But this brings us right into our Coast TV poll, and we want to know, how do you feel from partnering with ICE? You can see on the screen our options for support, unsure. If you haven't voted yet, or if you want to leave a comment, you can go to coasttv.com or use your Coast TV mobile app. Moving on, a controversial bill passed late on the last night of the legislative session. The bill will require counties to approve conditional use permits for substations that are located if the proposed facility meets a specific set of conditions and is renewed. Sussex County Council's decision to deny the use of land near the former Indian River power plant to be used for a U.S. wind substation. We spoke with some people who are for it and against the bill. Some say they don't see what the big deal is.
I don't think it's going to affect anything other than it could help bring down the cost for electricity if it was for everybody.
We reached out to U.S. Wind today. We did not hear back. One key part of the compromise that led to the bill's passage, a lawsuit that was filed by U.S. Wind, that will be able to proceed without legislative interference. Advocates say that protects Delaware's courts' authority. Increased one-year vehicle registration fees, those take effect this week in Maryland. Among the fee changes are a $10 hike in passenger car registration fees for vehicles under 3,500 pounds, a $30 increase, that's for passenger cars over 3,700 pounds, and an increase for motorcycles. The Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration says the updated rate this year 2026 budget. A new bill in effect today bans restaurants use plastics when you see in to-go boxes or plastic stirrers used for drinks. Customers will now be given out paper straws unless the person asks for a plastic one. The owner of the High Tide Coffee and Bowls in Fenwick Island says they've been doing it.
I think it's important to be conscious of the plastic use just because we're right across the street from the beach. So trying to limit that as much as possible is really important to us.
Delaware is now the 8th state with a bill like that, specifically regarding straws. And let's go ahead and take a live look outside right now. We're going to be going to Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams a little later on in the newscast. There is some weather heading our way. We want to let you know we will be getting that when we go to the Chief just a little bit later on. Stay with us until then. Moving on, a big win for Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. Senate Republicans passed the bill by the narrowest of margins after a turbulent overnight session. NBC's Monica Alba shows us what's next.
After 27 hours and 48 amendment votes, the most in history, Senate Republicans crossed the finish line.
The bill as amended is passed.
President Trump's signature tax cuts and spending bill passing by just one vote, a tiebreaker cast by Vice President J.D. Vance after 3 Republican senators voted no. Republican leaders spent the night tweaking the so-called big, beautiful bill to win just enough support to get it passed without Democratic votes.
And since we took office in January, Republicans have been laser focused on achieving the bill before us today. And now we're here.
Longtime holdout Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska ultimately voted yes, ensuring the bill's passage.
I tried to take care of Alaska's interests, but I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that.
The bill extends President Trump's 2017 tax cuts and cuts Medicaid and food stamp programs to increase military spending and border enforcement. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates it will increase the national debt by more than $3 trillion and could strip health insurance from 12 million people.
This is not what the country needs. This is not what the American people want.
After leaving his government post a month ago, billionaire Elon Musk is back, threatening primary challenges for Republican lawmakers who voted for the president's bill, arguing it spends too much. Today, President Trump fired back.
We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible?
Musk replying he won't escalate his conflict with the president for now. President Trump said he wants to sign the spending bill on the 4th of July, and House leadership has indicated they're going to vote on the Senate version tomorrow to try to meet that deadline. But passage is not guaranteed. Some Republican House members are concerned about how much this bill is projected to increase the national debt. Monica Alba, NBC News, Washington.
Still to come here on CoastTV News at 5, a chicken house fire. But first, need a vacation after your vacation? We're talking about a trend called PTO burnout. We're going to explain what that is.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Here's good news for drivers that are going to be hitting the road this 4th of July weekend. The price of that summer gasoline, well, it hasn't been this cheap since 2021. According to Gas Buddy, prices, they are expected to average between $3.10 and $3.15 per gallon. Now, that's nationally. That is down from $3.49 per gallon last year. AAA says a record-setting 61.6 million people, they are expected to travel by car this coming 4th of July weekend. And need a vacation after your vacation, whether it's a week away or just a long weekend. Do you find yourself feeling more drained than recharged once you come home? Michael Yoshida joins us with tips on how to feel more rejuvenated during and after your summer escapades.
Craving a post-vacation vacation? You might not be alone.
We're tired because we continue our work life and that work lifestyle on vacation.
Instead of relaxing, it can be tempting to overschedule, to try and see all of the tourist sites or do all of the resort's activities and more.
We just continue working. It's just a different kind of work. I have to see this cathedral. I have to, walk down this road, eat at this restaurant. And next thing you know, you're not resting, you're still working.
Jordan Barber, a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine, says learn to embrace unstructured relaxation. Have a to-do list, but also be okay just going with the flow and listening to your body. Other things to do to keep your stress in check. 1. Keep your hormones in balance with consistent meal and sleep timing. 2. Get early morning sun exposure to naturally boost your energy and reset your circadian rhythm. 3. Hydrate. You might be vacationing in a warmer climate or are eating more processed sodium-filled foods than you're used to. And finally, when it comes to meals, enjoy your vacation, but also try to eat more magnesium and potassium-rich foods, dark leafy greens, avocados, bananas, pumpkin seeds, and more to calm your nervous system.
It's okay to eat, at the restaurant that you want to eat at that might be a little processed or anything else, and to drink a little more, but make sure that hydration is up. But make sure that you're getting your magnesium, potassium-rich foods.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
The Maryland State Fire Marshal is investigating a chicken house fire. Now, it happened this morning in Denton, and according to officials, they say the Denton Volunteer Fire Company arrived to Tuckahoe River Farms Poultry around 3:19. On the scene right now are images, or on the screen are images from that scene. The fire took crews about 3 hours to put out. According to the fire marshal, one firefighter was taken to the hospital after experiencing heat exhaustion. Now, we're going to have weather coming up your way after the break. Make sure you stick around. There's more news right after this.
Well, first and foremost, we're on a bit of technical, but we are continuing your information at the bottom of the screen here. We are currently under a severe Chester and throughout other portions of the Delmarva Peninsula, but generally speaking, we're keeping a very close eye, monitoring what's happening with these storms. Now, the genesis of this comes with the thermodynamic energy that's in place. Wanted to illustrate this. Degrees, for example, in Ocean City, 91 in Salisbury, 89 for the high today in Georgetown. So with that kind of energy that's in place, especially with these storms making its journey through during the afternoon hours, here's what we're going to do. We're going to focus primarily on what's happening with the forecasted movement of the rain. Right now, we don't have an immediate with rain, so I really want to focus on what's going to happen later on for tonight. So at about 8:30, we're looking at embedded thunderstorms beginning to cross over into western portions of Kent, as well as the extreme northwestern corner of Sussex County. That being the case, we're going to see some very intense cells that are going to slide through, and then we'll see a bit of a spreading effect that will kick in by 10 o'clock. Now, take note of three specific cells I'm watching. The one near Ocean View, another one Ocean, and this one over here just north of Salisbury. That's all going to begin to sweep to the east very steadily. So far, we have a history of this storm, which is connected to a very active cold front that's pushing throughout the eastern portion of the United States. It's helping to interject more energy in thunderstorms. And looks, it's supposed to bloom even more so near Milton right around 11:30 for tonight. Things began to break up for us a little bit more efficiently. But then on Wednesday, we have another one of these intense cells that was sparked between Ocean View and Ocean Pines. So we're looking at a two-part storm late tonight and then morning and tomorrow afternoon. Yesterday, we had a tornado that actually hit. It was a weak one, briefly, but it was near Frankfort, reported. And actually, the National Weather Service, I talked with them today, they weren't able to pick that up because there was a problem with the radar. It's staffed fully, just in case you were wondering if there was something to deal with any kind of cuts, but it was because they're still dealing with a radar that's off on the blink, and they're still fixing it right now. Now, overall, we are continuing to keep a close eye on other advisories. We have very gusty winds along the coast with strong small craft advisories in effect, and then we have concerns with widespread flood watches. I'm just picking up some data right here, and we're seeing some circulations of possibility of some tornadic activity really north of 301 coming out of Annapolis. towards Dover. That was some information I wasn't expected to get here, but we're starting to get a little bit of a flash there. We have intermittent types of information coming through. We're going to be at a level 2 for tonight, for the rest of the night. And as we go into tomorrow, we start off in the morning time with temperatures in active thunderstorms, all a part of the mix. And then as we go into another one of our models, we're looking at towards Salisbury and Millsboro in the morning time. Then for Wednesday afternoon near lunchtime, look for another widespread scattered showers to begin to flare up here as well. And we anticipate that same situation happening from Bethany Beach towards Fenwick Island. And look at these storms, they race through very quickly, indicating we have fast moving storms that are. In addition to that, very muggy conditions is going to set us up for very aggressive activity from the mosquitoes, and our highs are going to get a little bit closer to the norm after we get this rain through. And then when you take a look at the rain, we see primarily on Wednesday. As we get ready to round this up, we got a 4 for Wednesday because of the storm, but look at this. The UV index is once again going to begin to be elevated for us. So for example, we go from Chincoteague to Assateague, stormy on Wednesday, warmer on Thursday, and then sunshine on Friday. And that sunshine will blister in another wave of very steamy conditions. So 73 for tonight, stormy conditions persist. 83 morning and then lunchtime thunderstorms. So we're not out of the woods yet, even after. And on Thursday, sunny and hot and the mugginess returns. Finally, here's a look at your exclusive 7-day forecast. We'll have clear conditions for July the 4th celebrations, but keep mindful of your surroundings for tonight, and we'll continue to scroll information along the bottom of your screen.
The National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration will stop providing meteorological satellite data by the end of July. NOAA says the move to cut off the flow of critical data involves a defense satellite program. It provides the military with crucial environmental information for operations around the world. The decision, initiated by the Defense Department, caused an uproar among meteorologists, public officials, and the media in the midst of hurricane season. A new study suggests that some AI models are more harmful to the planet than others. The massive data centers used for AI are powered by coal or natural gas plants. Researchers found complex questions produce up to 6 times more carbon dioxide emissions than questions with concise answers, while so-called smarter models with more reasonability produced up to 50 times more carbon emission than the simpler ones. The study author says if you want to reduce your carbon footprint, you should be more straightforward and specific when communicating with AI models. And now let's go ahead and take a live look outside. After the break, we're going to have another check-in with Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. He's got some new data to break down for you.
Right now, we've just begun to get some new information. Our computers are now booting back up, and we're starting to pick up on circulation that's making its way out of Vienna. We have an active severe thunderstorm watch that stays in effect until 9 o'clock. So we began to do a little bit of deep dive on what's happening. This line of storms, it's creating several tornadic signatures, low to mid-level cells, but fortunately, most of it looks like it's beginning to veer more to our north, which is good. However, we are still in the midst of a severe thunderstorm warning in our immediate area. Now, we can see that circulation. You see right there, we're picking up on the red circulation and the yellow circulations. That's near Graysonville, headed towards Baltimore Corner. Closer here to home, we have an active severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock for this evening. It's headed towards the Bridgeville, Seaford, and as well as the Laurel area. And as we begin to kind of track this particular cell that I was tracking while we were on our break, this is going to begin to make its way over towards Laurel, possibly as early as 6:18. We are actively watching this storm, and we are continuing to crawl information on the bottom of your screen to keep you updated on what's happening. Now, with this cell, it began to show some possible circulation, so we began to track it, and we dissected this storm, and we see that's just shy of the 30,000 foot threshold, which is good, which means it's still a thunderstorm. Although it's showing some early signs of circulation on all 3 levels, it still looks promising that it's going to stay at least docile to some degree. We have active winds still pushing throughout the area, and we're looking for these storms to continue to track towards the east at approximately 20 to 25 miles per hour. And as we begin to take a look at what's happening with these cells as they push through, they're going to stay very active for us. As we begin to take a look at what's happening with these cells throughout the rest of the overnight period, we'll be tracking them going into the 8 to 9 o'clock hour. And as we begin to come to a close here pretty quickly, we are going to be expecting with our 10-day forecast that will have much quieter conditions that will kick in for us as we go into Friday. We'll keep you updated on your forecast and update you on what's happening with your severe weather in your area. I'm Paul Williams signing off for Coast TV News.